how to put English
Hello
on the
and welcome
basketball.
to a new week, a new episode of With the English podcast with myself as usual and Sam. Sam, how you doing?
A little bit tired from staying up watching basketball last night, but otherwise I am good. How are you?
Not too bad, a bit like you, tired and that, but I would have thought you'd be a bit more upset today. Not only as your Eagles had their season finished early, but we could say that the Sixers season has finished early.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, I'm looking forward like most people. I mean, even the bandwagon people that doesn't really like NFL will probably watch the Usher halftime performance. I think me and you and people of our age group will remember peak early 2000s Usher Confessions album. So I think for our sort of late
Great
20s, early
album.
30s, yeah, exactly. Anyone from late 20s to early to mid 30s will enjoy that performance. So that's what I'll be watching rather than the game. And yeah, I think the Sixers season's over. Loads of stuff to talk about today. Injuries will be one of them, unfortunately. Embiid being one of the big players out. There's other injuries though, so we can focus on those. I'm more than happy to talk about those.
Yes, we can't brush past the big news in Philadelphia with Embiid. For any Sixers fans, Sam's had a bit of chat of this on his Sixers podcast, UK crossover. So I've already heard your pain. So we won't go too much into Embiid today, but yeah, it's not looking great for you guys, and it could have a bearing on what you do in the deadline day.
I know. That's why it's a really good episode for me because everything we're going to talk about, trades and injuries and stuff, it's gonna heavily involve the Sixers. So, or me passionate about it because the Sixers, like you say, it does make a difference. So, yeah, I'm all sad, and you're happy because you guys have won a couple in a row, three in a row, or
Yeah,
whatever it is now.
three in a row. But you know, we have, speaking of injuries, we now have Vando back out again for 3 to 4 weeks until reevaluation. Not quite as serious as MB, but he was, aside from AD, he's our best point of attack defender. And he's going to be a big miss. He was just got his legs underneath him, getting his minutes, and we were hoping we're going to see him start another game. But I guess it's part and parcel of the game. And
Hmm.
just like the Sixers, it changes, I think, what we do on the deadline day. I think you would have had a lot of talk about D'Angelo Russell. And I don't want him to be traded. I think he's been superb for us. I think with D'Lo, if you're a Laker fan, the camp's pretty split. You're either I love D'Lo and he's like a almost Laker for life sort of player, or you are skeptical of what kind of happens if we get deep into the playoffs. He will he show up or will he go hiding? But the rumors have been strongly with DeJounte Murray, and me personally, I don't think that's going to move the needle. There's no, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's no evidence that DeJounte Murray is going to turn up late in the playoffs
Hmm.
because he's been with the Hawks and Spurs, and I don't know if he was with anyone
No.
before that. So I don't know why it's suddenly, that's a better option. But there with Vander out, are we going to look at some depth on the wing, or more of a bigger guard that can play better off the ball? It just makes it. I always say, deadline days so exciting, but there's so many factors that go to it, and these injuries, and what franchises are selling franchise. I always feel like every day. I always want to say transfer deadline day.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's what we're used to with soccer for our American friends. But I always feel like there's always a franchise that has to move the needle first, and
Hmm.
then other deals start happening.
Yeah, I think it would be a knock-on effect, won't it? So I think the injuries, I think the Veen's injury. So I suppose if we want to start on the injuries, we'll start on Naveen. I think the Naveen injury, excuse me, is an interesting one because there was talk that people were trying to offer and bid for him and interested in him, and this, obviously said he didn't want to play, and then he's now had a surgery, so now the trade's going to be off the table really. So until the summer. So now does that mean that the Bulls have kind of said we're giving up on the season now? Finally, like we said in the last episode, are they finally going to give in and are they going to start making trades now? Will they? Apparently, there's rumors about the Caruso. They want a sort of OG style trade. Drummond's getting interest from teams that isn't the Sixers, unfortunately, at the moment. So
Apparently, our Lakers are looking into that.
I know, yeah, Suns as well. So there's a few of the Western Conference teams. So what's going to happen? Are the Bulls going to? I think you said last time when we did the X's and O's, you were confident they would trade. I think it's got to be the time now, right?
Yeah, I
with the
think.
injury.
Yeah, I remember doing it. Yeah, like I say, we did it a couple of months ago, and I was almost certain that Bulls were going to blow it up. But that was when they were losing a lot of games. Then Levine got injured, and then they started winning a lot of games. Led by Kobe White, who's been fantastic for the Bulls. Levine comes back in. They continue to pick up wins here and there, like it wasn't as good. And now, yeah, Levine decides to take surgery. I find that a bit. I find it happens every year, and I find it weird with the NBA. It's almost like players in the NBA play through injuries, and when the season's basically over and there's no chance of winning, it's like, right, let's go get surgery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that NFL and NBA seems to be American sports seem to be more consistent with that. I think over here we don't really. I think the squads are big enough here where you don't, and the product. It's not. It's about the team. It's a team product. Whereas in basketball, we care about our teams passionately, but there's a lot of casual fans in other countries and the casual NBA fan that will whack on a game on Thursday night TNT and want to watch the best players. So I think it's more around that side of it, and players play for it because they know they want to be on national TV, get that recognition. Who wants, if you're a player, you want to speak to Ernie and Chuck and Kenny and that and Shaq after the game, right, and have an interview. It's probably one of the highlights of your in season sort of things that you do. You probably want to be interviewed on TNT after a game or ESPN. So I think that's why we probably see it and they put things off because you're playing 80 odd games, right? So there's bound to be niggles and stuff. Like we as Sunday League and amateur football players will play for a little niggle. But yeah, professional athletes in England and Britain don't really.
I just think what's strange about the NBA is that there's always so much controversy and criticism around load management, injuries. When a player in football gets injured, we just accept it for what it is. We get annoyed, obviously, and then we just wait for that player to come back. But every time there's a player injured well, not every player, but a lot of the time when there's a player injured in the NBA, it's he's load managing. When in Embiid's case, he's ducking. He's ducking certain players, he's ducking certain games, and I will troll you with that sometimes. But if I'm honest, I don't get why Embiid gets so much heat from it when there's other players that are always out injured, on and off.
Yeah, I think
Do you know who goes? Do you know who goes under the radar and never gets any shit for it? Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I do see him getting criticised. I think the most famous.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, casual. I think the most famous people for load management criticism is Kawhi and Embiid. They get it quite a lot, but it proved in Kawhi's case that it worked in Toronto. So I think because Toronto winning. So I think if the Sixers would have won that, which they should have done, and we traded a quadruple doink for a double doink in the NFL. So, but anyway, don't want to get heartbroken about that. But that year, if we'd have won that series and Kawhi left Toronto, there wouldn't probably be that much focus on it. It's a copycat league. So Kawhi gets plays 50 odd games or whatever for Raptors in regular season. It's like, oh, we can start doing that. That seems to be accepted. And then other teams started copying that. Like they copied the small ball or whatever with Golden State. So yeah, I think Levine's and obviously Levine's injury, as well. So he's not always been perfect. I don't. In the last few years, I don't remember him playing loads of games. So he's obviously been carrying stuff. But I think them two get the most criticism. Harden's obviously had his little random moments. Simmons as well. You know, his, again, you're not sure with Simmons. You can't really
I
tell with
think
him.
Simmons is a bit different because he was not turning up to work until he was told he wouldn't get paid.
Yeah, and that's the problem with him. Like generally, like I believe in mental health issues, but you don't suddenly go from a physical to a mental health one when you get told you're not getting paid. Like
Yeah,
it's like,
if
oh no, it's suddenly
when
mental
he was
now.
told, yeah, when he was told he wasn't getting paid, he should have been like, okay, fair enough, I haven't been to work.
Yeah. Not then
Exactly.
go,
So I
oh,
think,
it's not actually my back, it's my mental health now. Okay, cool, cheers. Like, yeah.
and this season, it's always great to see him back on the court, but it seems
Hmm.
he gets he gets a setback every time. But again, you get them football where some players are just injury prone. They just can't get fit. Their body lets them down. And I think the media drives this a lot. And obviously, Adam Silver doesn't like it
No.
as commissioner. I think you mentioned it, on your UK crossover that TV companies are not going to like it because of it. Instead of MB versus Jokic, they get, I don't know, Paul Reed versus
He did all right to be fair, but
Jokic.
yeah. Yeah.
But like you said, the casual fans not interested in that.
No. And actually
I
another
still watch it.
yeah, yeah. No, no, that's
You know,
true. I think
if AD's out, I don't go, well, I'm not watching this one.
yeah, don't get me wrong, like last night I fell asleep and dipped in and out of it. And then when I saw we were losing, I was like, I'll give up and watch the rest in the morning. But another player actually who plays for a big team and I would say he's potentially injury prone. But I respect him as players. Julius Randle as well. He's out for a few weeks now as well. So there's a few injuries lingering about to these big name players. And I know we're going to touch on this later about Embiid and Randall being out and who can replace them in the All Star. But what about trade? So if I throw a few trade things at you, Glenn,
Yeah.
what do you think? So Bulls, Caruso, they're wanting that sort of deal that OG got. Do you think he's
I
a boy
think
that
if
you
it's,
liked as well? So
I mean, I would, yeah, buy Rui, buy, I want to say buy D'Lo, but then we lose a lot of playmaking, and don't replace it with a like for like. But yeah, man, I'd love to see Caruso back on the Lakers. But I was thinking about this yesterday. Who out there is going to throw what the Bulls want to get Caruso in return?
yeah, no, I agree. I think pick and some similar sort of level talent that don't quite
So
fit the
essentially,
team.
they're asking for two young players with good potential and some draft compensation.
Yeah, for a all right player.
You always say this. I reckon you need to have Caruso in a Sixers jersey before you appreciate how good he is.
I think he's a good player. But I wouldn't give up. I'd give up Harris and a first round pick for him.
Oh yeah, like yeah. As much as I love him, I think what the Bulls are asking for is a bit rich. Andre Drummond, I think could possibly go. I think Suns would be a good place for him to go to.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nurkic has been great, but I get the feeling they're not that confident in Drew Eubanks and wouldn't be able to play him in a deep playoff run. Whereas as sometimes comical as Andre Drummond can be, he would be a pretty decent backup, and he's
Oh, he
fantastic
is.
rebounder.
Hmm.
So I can see some of the destination, but like we said with the Levine injury, does that completely change what the Bulls franchise want to do? Do they just stick with what they've got and work it out in the off season?
Hmm. Yeah, no, it is interesting with the Bulls. I just don't know. Yeah, I think Drummond seems to be the one that people are talking about a lot. So I think he's the most likely one. It
Yeah,
feels like that would be realistic. The Suns are being linked with Bridges, being linked with. I don't know where they're getting the how they can offer. I mean, I just don't know how what they can really package up
yeah, but
to do that.
do you not find the rumors quite just draining after a while? Like everyone puts their trades in and that trade machine thing, and just gets ridiculous. Anyone can tweet anything, so it doesn't, it just what's true and what's not true. Part of me feels like, is the deadline day going to be a bit quiet?
Could be. It could be. I think when you look at the stuff that's going on, and you're looking at, when I'm looking through, I was looking at the top rumors. You're seeing, um, you're not seeing anything. You're seeing Quentin Grimes, Maverick Knicks reject Mavericks trade for Quentin Grimes. Don't know how true that is. I've seen that pop up a bit. The thing is,
I heard Mavs are back in for Finney Smith.
well, there you go. But then I'm seeing that Nets want, like, what they want a couple of first round picks, or a first round pick and a second round or something for him. So again, it might be it's going to be tough to see, because I think there's not much
The
more.
problem is Minnesota ruined the market, because
Yeah,
apparently Rudy Gobert is worth 5 first-round picks,
oh, I just don't.
and players as well.
That was ridiculous. But I think the only player that I could see going, that probably lead on nicely to something I was going to speak to you about as well, is I could see Mr. Wiggins being traded. He seems to be every year, summer, last trade
The
deadline
rumors
was
are heating
summer.
up that Clay could be on the block.
I know, because he's not starting now. I thought he dealt with it quite well in the locker room. And as much as I hate Draymond, I heard him shout something in the
Oh, look, do
locker
you know
room
what? I
quite.
can't stand the way he talks.
Who, Clay or
Honest,
Draymond?
yeah, Clay. I just can't stand him.
But I respect him though. He's like, he's obviously downbeat in the locker room being talked about, and like I felt like he dealt with it well. And it's obviously clear by his response that he feels like if he gets back into a groove, he'll start again. He must have had that conversation with
Guys,
Steve Kerr. So
guys crying because he didn't close out a regular season game in February.
yeah, but they count, right? At the moment, it's like, yeah, February for me, January, February onwards. I say Christmas onwards. Those games matter a bit more. Like,
Sam, they're like 12th and like 2 games back from the play.
that's why every game's important for him, because they need to win it to get every
I
game's like a
know,
playoff.
but yeah. The thing is, isn't Clay out of contract in the season? And do they? He's going to have to take a pay cut, surely.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be on near a max deal unless there's a new
So
bargain. I don't know when the next
does it?
collective bargaining agreement is.
Does he go elsewhere and make more money?
Could do. Could do. What what would you what
'Cause
team would
I would like to see him at like Spurs.
well, I suppose they could. I was going to say, what teams would you say would pay the? I don't know if they give him. They might give him a max, because you've got a couple of years of. You're going to have to pay Wemby for a couple of years.
Yeah, who's high on the wage bill?
I'd have to check that without. That'd be a quick Google on the
But
iPad that I've got here. But
yeah, but
yeah,
essentially looking at looking at their
yeah.
players, they're not going to be on.
No, no. That's probably a good shout if you want that sort of leadership proven winner. Get him in the locker room. That's probably
Spurs need vets.
yeah. We could this could be a go back to February's podcast with Glenn in the summer when this trade when the free agency hits and he signs. It could be
Yeah.
that could be a one.
And
Could
why
be good.
about Glenn Windhurst? Why do you think that is?
Well, but yeah, the injuries and trades kind of combined into one. It's been I think all the injuries has made it tough, because teams going to demand more from I think the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks were going to go big splash anyway. But Randall being out, they're not going to then probably go for anything else, because they know they're being desperate. Same with the Sixers, probably going to be seen as desperate. The Bulls with Levine out probably can be more tight and relaxed, and like, well, we don't care. We're going to lose anyway without Levine, even though and they're not going to give up White. It sounds like they're not going to give up DeRozan, and it sounds like they want an absolute ridiculous package for a player that's not going to be a top 3 player in your team. He's probably a fourth option, because he's a defensive player more than offensive. He's going to be your fourth option, your fourth starter really in your 3. So yeah, no one's going to really give up that sort of package. So it's just going to be whether you got, like you say, do a tit for tat trade. Do you get a Murray in, and move D'Angelo, like
See, for
that.
me, if you're going to make a deadline deal, it's got to be to make vast improvement and to take you from, being a contender team to contender team. The core of the deadline day should be the teams at the top trying to find those final pieces that can really help them in the playoffs with players from teams further down that just want to get rid of
Mm,
certain salaries or want draft picks in return. Um, and when it comes to my Lakers, I'm just thinking there's no one out there really that's going to change us from down in ninth and 10th to a top four seed. We're going to have to work with the playing
hmm
this late in the season, I believe, and I would give my um I would keep D'Lo, to be honest.
Keep the chemistry there. Seem to be doing well. So
Keep
yeah,
the chemistry there. He's got chemistry with LeBron and AD, and I just think you'd be making a trade for the sake of it.
yeah. And then I think the only other team I could see, another nice little part of the USA that I'm sure everyone would like to live in. I could see Miami maybe trying to do something, but I think there'd be more. I think Lakers and Miami, because of their destination, probably be more buyout market players because you get the best of both worlds. You've got a team that's playing sort of probably will win the playing game and they get to live in a nice part of the world where the sun's shining. It's pretty nice. So I think those are the two teams that are going to be destinations. And then you might
I
have
forgot. I forgot to mention, Sam. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is important. There was people in the Lakers camp, fan wise, talking about Austin Reeves not being untouchable.
well,
That's that's blasphemy in my eyes.
depends.
And he won us that game in Boston. Well, not single
But
handedly, but
okay,
he was
so
big.
like
He was big in New York as well. That's why I'm wearing
yeah,
his jersey.
I know, but if I agree. Like there is like
AR-15's back.
yeah, but the thing is, every player is tradable. Like
I know.
Embiid,
I know.
free first. Like he even said himself once. I remember him saying a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, he was like, if Warriors go, we'll give you Stephen Clay, the first round pick for Joel Embiid. He goes, I'm going to the Golden State Warriors. He knows, it's good if it's a ridiculous package comes in like that. Rudy Gobert, like I say, Rudy Gobert, I'm sure would
Although I think Steph Curry is untradeable.
no, but again, and if someone offers you a ridiculous amount, same with the Bulls back in the day,
No,
no one ever did
I
it. But if
think
someone said 3 first round picks and 3 starters of any player, like you would potentially do any trade. Like if you're getting,
I think legacy would help him,
yeah,
and he's still playing at an all-star level.
he is. Oh, should we move on to All Stars? Should we move on to All Star
Yeah,
reserves? Who do you, Glenn? Trey Young seems to be a name coming up a lot.
have you not seen it? It's been announced?
Oh, has it been announced?
It's been
I've not
announced in the
seen it.
last hour or something. Do you want to know who it is?
Go on then. Is it Trey Young?
It's one of them. Who do you think the other one is?
Uh, it's got to be Barnes or Turner.
Barnes.
Okay, I'm happy with
I
that.
would have given it. I would have given it to Turner based on he's been just as good and they got a better record. But
I must have missed that while I was setting everything up. But yeah, no,
yeah,
I must
look,
have.
honestly, I went on to X before we logged on, and that was pretty much like newly released. So there you have it.
Wow, learning news while we're on the pod. But yeah, I think that's fair. Like you say, Turner's probably the only one that's been kind of potentially a bit undone. I think Barkley was the only one really singing his praises from a national media perspective, because he had him in his sort of selection on when they did their backups for the All-Star game. So he definitely deserves time. The pace is still doing okay when Halliburton's been out, and he's been a crucial part of that. So I do feel for Turner a little bit for not being selected. But Trey Young, he's a frustrating player when you play against him, and just the look of him, he's got that annoying sort of look. But he is a fantastic player, so you can't dispute that. But it's two big men that's kind of gone out, and you put in another guard. So I think I would have preferred a Turner
Yeah.
and Barnes approach. But I get it; it doesn't. It's positionless, so it is what it is. If
I mean,
anyone gets injured
Trey
in
Young's
the
going to be he's going to be more entertaining, isn't he? He's going to shoot from half court, logo.
Yeah,
Like
Turner's not doing that.
Turner's not doing that. So
No.
it's
If
about entertainment at the end of the day and a bit of fun.
it is, and then I'll throw a little. Actually, I'll save it for my X and O's. I'll save it for my X and O. No, it's not really an X and O. Let's ask you: if someone gets injured in the West, who would be on your first reserve from the Western Conference that hasn't been selected for the All Star? Don't say Austin Reeves.
Sengun.
Okay.
Sengun for Houston. I know they tailed off a little bit, but I just love watching him play. And he'd be great for an all-star sort of game. Now everyone's talking about Sabonis, maybe um De'Aaron Fox. Did he get
Yeah.
selected? But not Sabonis. Like I get he's had a great season, but he's just not like what's he gonna do that's fun in the all-star game?
Well,
Get
no, I think
get
he is. No, but he can. He
get
can shoot.
30 get 30 rebounds because no one else is in the paint when the shots hit the rim.
Yeah, fair, 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 fair. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So yeah, I really like I keep singing his praises, this guy, and I do hope the Rockets push on season by season. And speaking of trades, they've gone for Steven Adams. So I guess their long-term plan can possibly be Steven Adams at, obviously at centre and maybe playing Sengun at the four. They can't see Adams playing back up.
No, and he's another one that's been injured a while as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very rare that he's playing loads of games at the moment. So
Well, they swapped injury for injury, didn't they?
yeah, but I just don't know. I mean, let me just. How old is he? Let me Google Stephen Adams. That is age. Wow. Now I didn't realize he was. He had an English. I didn't realize he was English as well as. Okay, did you know that? Well, I googled his
I
Wikipedia.
did not know.
Is he had a Togan mother and an English father. Um, his father was from Bristol and was in the Royal Navy. But if I said to you how old is
Random.
Stephen Adams, guess how old would you say he is?
32.
I was thinking 32, 33. He's 30, so he's quite young. So I can see why the Rockets made that trade.
It's just big and hairy, ain't he? So he looks older.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, and I think he's got obviously growing up in a nice part of the world like New Zealand.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
true, yeah.
probably. But yeah, I thought he was older than that. So I can see why the Rockets done that because that's a player that you can have for 3 or 4 years, even though he hasn't played a lot. And you don't mind if he doesn't play a lot because, like you say, you can rotate him around.
Yeah.
Whether you put that Seagon at center, whether you put him at power forward and play them together, and maybe they'll create the Mon Stars from Space Jam sort of style big men come back into play in
Yeah.
Houston.
But it's becoming a big man's game again. So
Yeah, yeah. We tried it a couple of years too early with Al Horford, but yeah, we probably should have tried it, a bit later down the line. But anyway. Shall we move on to your X's and O's, Glenn?
yes, I will note that I don't have a challenge for you this week because I've been so busy. I've not selected anyone. I wouldn't fist pump just yet because that will just mean there'll be a rollover next week and I'll have two for you.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's not do that. So,
I'll be busy with two names and some X's and O's for you. But yeah, sorry, yeah, hit me with your X's and O's for me.
so I've only got a couple, but my first one's is probably going to be a long answer for you. The LA Clippers
Yeah. I try to
will.
get through an episode without mentioning Boston or Clippers. Go on, sorry.
You're going to hate me. LA Clippers will finish number one seed in the West because since the Harden trade, they went 0-5, and then since then they have one of the best records in the NBA.
I hate to say this, but it's an easy O. I was looking at that this morning, and I was thinking they must be close to top seed now, and they're half game back. Yeah, I think they're going to continue this form and get first seed, and it'd be very interesting if my Lakers get the eighth seed, and we finally get a Clippers Lakers first round, which will probably get swept in. But
No,
I'm still hoping for that Kawhi and Paul George injury.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that sounds a bit harsh, but wishing injury on players, but yeah, maybe load
Yeah, I'm already
management.
one. I've got no soul, and I'm already going to hell. So it is what it is.
Another team that's doing really well, and so your second X and O's, it's not really. I am mentioning this Celtics, but only because it involves a team in the Eastern Conference. So it's an Eastern Conference question. So Cavs have
Hmm.
done really well, and they're
Mm.
now second. And a team that's dropped off is the Bucks, and they've not done very
Sorry,
well.
before we continue, can I just say JB Bickerstaff has been absolutely robbed of all-star coach.
Yes.
Doc Rivers getting that is absolute nonsense. How are you going to try and sell us that the All-Star game, you want us fans to take the All-Star weekend more seriously when you're making Doc Rivers the head
And
coach of it?
win this coach
Abs
this year.
yeah, absolute ESPN analyst. Like, it's absolutely nonsense. So, yeah, people need to shout out Cavs more. Big Sub's doing an amazing job. The Cavs are doing an amazing job. Sorry, I just had to
No,
get in
that's
there because
fine. So
that
based
pissed
on
me
that,
off.
I probably know what the answer is going to be.
Go on.
The Milwaukee Bucks will finish fourth seed or lower in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Celtics,
Oh,
Cavs, and probably Knicks, I assume, Pacers, because I can't see us doing
Bucks
it.
clearly,
Sixers.
Bucks clearly got some issues. The games they're losing are, ridiculous. Just the likes of Portland and teams at the bottom. They're obviously not clicking. I think I think Giannis misses his friend Drew Holiday when he realised how little Dame plays defense. I
Yeah.
mean, they're starting backcourts, Malik Beasley and Damian Lillard. It's like, what do you expect?
Yeah, I think under I don't know why they thought putting Rivers in would, and I call him Glenn now because there's only one Doc and that's Dr. J. But
Don't call him my name. He could just be Rivers.
no, yeah, sorry. I just yeah, he's just not a. I just don't think he's a very good X and O's coach. He's a good people leader, and I think that's I can only assume that's the only reason he brought him. But they're not clicking still, and I just think they're going to drift off. That's the only positive for me, is that if they do pick up and they do somehow get into the second seed and we finish lower, I fancy us in a series against them because we've got the better coach. And
Yeah,
potentially a right matchup. Like you say, Dame plays no real defense. Maxi at least tries and puts up similar, if not better, numbers than Lillard. So yeah, it's one of those tough ones. But yeah, I thought when I was looking at next days, I was thinking you're gonna love me for the Clippers one, but I thought we can make a joke about the Bucks because the Bucks do look like they're falling apart this year. And then if they have a real bad season again, go out in the first round or second round, does that mean they start looking at things? You know, do
oh, I'm
they?
sure. Yeah, we're going to see a Giannis tantrum in the playoffs. Guarantee it. And I will can't wait to see it.
Yeah, he's starting. Yeah, now he's a superstar. He's set a precedent for himself with nicking that ball. He's now everyone's the expectations there for a
Well,
meltdown.
he's got that hidden bastard in him. He try and portrays this nice family man, but he's got a bit of a nasty streak in him, and I look forward to the Giannis meltdown, and they won't be doing their little dance um in their pre-game like they did when they got rid of Adrian Griffin. Horrible franchise.
Does seem so. Does seem so. So that comes to the end of the episode because thankfully Glenn has no silly little name for me to try and read out. So Glenn,
No, but I will say that it was tough going on this without mentioning how we beat the Bostons in their own um, arena with no AD, no LeBron, and they got you know.
I enjoyed watching that. I won't lie. I woke up in the middle of the
I
night.
enjoyed watching it. It's my
It was
favorite game
good.
of the season so far.
Yes, I won't lie. I did. I think that's a good way to end it. Actually, yeah, I won't lie. I was up all night. Sixers were on earlier in the night, and yeah, that was interesting to see your boy make some big shots and stuff as well. So I just
Oh,
knew
it
straight
was
away.
chef's kiss, chef's kiss. And we try and keep this pod family friendly and that, but fuck Boston.
Yeah, I have to edit that bit. I have to try and
That's
dub our music
that's
over that.
the first F-bomb with the English, and it was worth it.
Indeed, I will dub over that so we don't get into too much trouble. But that concludes the episode. So please like, subscribe, and share the YouTube, the Spotify, or the Apple Podcast, how you listen to us. And as always, we're growing every week. I see that we're getting more followers, and we really appreciate it. But our favorite platform to use is X, and our X
More
Twitter
followers. Sorry, more followers, more engagement. I'm sure we're going to get some comments from Boston fans now, and Bucks fans, and the rest of it. But please, yes, engage with us, support the channel at With the English #1. Why is it #1, Sam?
Because we are the only podcast called